buying my first home freaked me out. I can tell you, when I was about to buy it, I was scared to death of the mortgage payment. I was scared to death of being committed to it. Luckily, my dad, who sold real estate, said to me, "David, you'll be fine. Just do it." After that, I just did it. I bought my first home. Now, I didn't have any money at the time frame. I didn't have money in the bank. I was scared. It was a big payment to be paying on your very first home, but it paid off big time. I ended up selling the house and making more money than I could make in a whole year of working. Me and my wife wanted to move to a different location, and I knew this was the perfect opportunity to get my first rental. I was scared to death again to buy another house and have a mortgage payment on the one I was renting out. I was freaked out. I did not know if I was going to go bankrupt. I didn't know if I was going to be able to make the payment. I was scared, but I knew that in order to create wealth, I had to just do it. And so I bought the new house, I rented out the one that I was living in, but when I rented it out, my rent was a lot more money than what my payment was. And so I was able to take that money and put that towards my payment on the new house. Even though I had two homes, my payment was actually less than my payment was when I only owned one home, because I was able to get all that rental income from the home that I just moved out of. Owning a home betters everything from your wallet to your lifestyle. And I want to share with you how I did it so that you will not be stuck in renting hell. By the way, I'm Dave Robison, also known as Utah Dave. I'm the principal broker of Gobi Realty, and I've helped people buy and sell over 3,000 homes here in Utah. I make these videos because a lot of people are renting when they should be bettering their wallet and their lifestyle through homeownership. This is for singles, married people with kids, without kids, multi-generational. Hey, if that's you, listen up. The main strategy here is to lower your expenses, save the difference, and then buy. If you're saving money as a single person, live with your parents. I mean, free housing, maybe free food. It's the best way to save money so that you're not spending it on housing, renting, or food. I might have a kid somewhat living off of me too, but she's 13. You know, though, if your parents are toxic, they might be holding you back from basically hitting your potential. Might be a good idea to move out. Well, great thing to do is share rooms with other singles. And then that way you don't have the entire housing bill expense. Another thing you could do is be able to rent an ADU. The best type of ADUs to rent are ones that are further away from city center downtown. So that could be Ogden, Tooele, or Eagle Mountain. If you're a married couple without kids, you actually have an advantage. You have two household incomes. It's easier to save up money quicker in that instance. And you're pretty flexible on your living space. One of my dreams was to be a newlywed couple and move straight into a duplex and rent out the other side to basically offset my mortgage payment while building equity in the house and letting the renter pay down my principal. Unfortunately, my wife wasn't on the same page. And so we bought a house with both our incomes, and I wish I would have done it differently. I wish I would have done the duplex, because that would have been the best financial decision at that time frame. However, we bought a house. So to compromise, we ended up moving into another home, and she let me keep that house as a rental where we made money off of that in the future. So how can married couples, though, before they buy that first house, be able to decrease their expenses and their rent bill? Well, the first thing, if you're married, is maybe you don't rent a house. Maybe you don't rent an apartment. Or maybe you find an ADU in a location that's further away where you can save money on your rental payment. Now, when kids come into the picture, now you need a little bit more space, and it would be tempting to go find that perfect dream home and rent it. You could go hardcore mode in doing that. Let the kids sleep on the bed, and you and your wife buy a mattress and sleep on the floor. With a multi-generational family, it all comes down to how well you can tolerate each other. Some families need space, and you might need to rent a home in this instance. If that's the case, you still should stick to more affordable locations. But if you guys are still superstars, you could rent an ADU and share it all together. A big plus of the multi-generational people is you have more people that can share the utility bills and the rent. So to wrap up, to minimize your rent, be sure to live in an ADU and or an affordable location. The next big ticket item is food. How do you reduce how much you're spending on food? Well, if you're single, you got to get self-disciplined. There's things you can do with food by not splurging, by eating leftovers, by not eating out, creating a meal plan. If you want to go extreme, well, you could do ramen and a multivitamin a day. Simple. You're a married couple without kids. What do you do to save on food? You suffer together. What do? You don't splurge, dinner dates at home, cook together, and do low cost but nutritional meal plans. Now, if you're a married couple with kids, saving on food can be a little bit more difficult because you have a few mouths. So, what do? You suffer, your kids don't. And what you got to do is make meal plans at home. So you got your kids and your parents enter the picture. How do you save on food? So I know some people that are in a multi-generational household, and one of the things that they do is they have each person take a different night of the week and they take turns cooking. To wrap up on saving on food, be sure to eat at home, eat leftovers, prepare meal plans, and don't eat out as much. The next big cost is transportation. How do you save money when it comes to transportation? If you're single, try riding a bicycle, getting a bus pass, living close to a track station potentially, if it can take you to work and back. But stop Ubering. No more Uber. How do you save on transportation when you're a married couple without kids? Well, the first thing that you can do, be sure to not Uber. Go biking on your dates. Let's get your money and your quads up. Staying fit. Now, if you're a married couple and you have kids, things can get a little bit more complicated. The reason why? Because you have kids. Expenses go up. Time for yourself declines. It's murky waters. Depending on where you live in Utah, you might still be able to bike or walk to school. If you have a car that has terrible gas mileage, get rid of it. Get one that has better gas mileage. Sell it or get rid of it and just bite the bullet. Do more carpooling. However, you're probably older now and you probably have a little bit more income, so just manage your expenses. Be diligent in putting money aside. If you're in a multi-generational household, this can be really cool. It's a great time to reduce costs by carpooling together and eliminating a car for every person in the household. So personally, I don't know a multi-generational family that everyone in the household doesn't have a car, but I think someone needs to figure it out and do it. To wrap up, be sure to eat cheap, rent cheap, drive cheap, and save the difference. So once you start saving up, be sure to talk to an agent because they are going to hook you up with a lender so that you can know exactly what you can qualify for and what you need to do in order to get into a home. There are still ways to get into a home with no money down. You just got to know the right person and the right program. For example, Utah right now is offering $20,000 to first-time home buyers that are going to be buying a new home.